Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Shishi Said, and I'm here with...
Hi, Felici. Good morning.
So, we've got this situation with Megan Good, who's going through a divorce with her pastor husband, DeVon Franklin. Now, something interesting that was brought to my attention, actually by one of my subscribers who commented, was it's a good thing he filed for divorce, and maybe this was intentional, but it's a good thing he filed for divorce after 9 years of marriage, because if he had hit or passed that 10-year mark, then he would have been liable or at a greater chance of paying alimony for a lifetime, for the rest of his life.
So I didn't know that. So it has to be 10 years or more for them to have to pay alimony?
Yeah, I think it's about like 10 years or more. But that's specifically for the state of California. Anything can happen in California. You know, part of the reason a lot of people are moving out of California, one of the many reasons people are moving out of California, you got all these crazy marriage laws. So that's specifically for paying alimony for a lifetime. Anything under that is like half of the time you were married.
Gotcha.
It's like specific calculations depending on how long you're married to that person. I don't know what those calculations are exactly, but I do know after 10 years, the courts might make you pay alimony for the rest of your life. And that is insane.
And that's until the other party gets married?
That's until the other party either gets married or dies.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. They don't count boyfriends. You can still date. You can still live with another guy. You know, they come and like try to make sure you're not doing any domestic stuff, but it's really hard to track a lot of that stuff at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. That's the worst possible case scenario for any man who's considering marriage today, which is why a lot of guys don't want to get married. You know, you're sitting there, imagine you're married to a woman after 10 years, she ends up telling you she hates you or she divorces you, which is pretty common because women initiate majority of divorces. And then now you got to pay her out for the rest of her life while she's banging some new guy and she's working. Like,
nope.
And she's taking a chunk of your paycheck for the rest of your life. That's hell.
Yeah. That I think that is a bad deal. Like, it's definitely a bad deal for, you know, the guy or whoever does the, you know, whoever is paying out the alimony. It's definitely a bad deal because it's just like that person knows that if they get married, the money's going to stop coming in and they're just going to be like, nope, I'm not getting married ever again because you're going to keep it. Where is my money? Give me my money.
Yeah. I've ran into multiple men actually in that situation, multiple of them, who have to pay alimony to a spouse for the rest of their life. And I've also ran into a woman. I actually had a conversation with the woman at a place I was working at, and she did hair for a living. I remember asking her, because this was during the pandemic, I remember asking, I said, hey, how things been going for you with the hair thing? You know, I assume people don't want to, you know, have contact and such. Like, has it been challenging? She's like, it's been bad, but, you know, thank God my husband still pays alimony. Yikes. And she's still receiving this check. Now I'm thinking of him. I'm like, damn, he must be going through it. You know, maybe he was an essential worker. You better thank that man. He's still getting paid, so you're still getting paid. But she was basically like, I'm still getting paid. Everything's still good because of this guy who I married, who I want absolutely nothing to do with anymore. And she had a boyfriend, and she told me, she literally said out of her own mouth, I don't want to marry him because I'll stop receiving that spousal support.
That's a bad deal. It is.
Switching topics, Megan Good and DeVon Franklin released a statement following their announcement of their divorce. There's no one at fault. Now, I know you've got the full statement that they released there. Why don't we go ahead and read that, man? Because I think there's some stuff to take from that.
Okay. All right. So the statement says, after much prayer and consideration, we have decided to go into our future separately but forever connected. We celebrate almost a decade of marriage together and a love that is eternal. There's no one at fault. We believe this is the next best chapter in the evolution of our love. We are incredibly grateful for the life-changing years we've spent together as husband and wife. We are also extremely thankful to God for the testimony being created inside us both and for blessing our lives with each other.
All right. Was there nothing in there about her eating butt cheeks on her new show? Nothing in there about that. Listen, that's just like some BS right there, man. That's
Oh
some
my goodness.
straight public relations. Let's get out here and give a statement together. And we came to this conclusion together. There is
That
no
is exactly
relationship.
what I thought. That is exactly what I thought. I think they were, living separately, doing their own thing. And he was just like, you know what? I need to get this out the way before things on her new show start to come out. And he's just like,
And
yeah, I'm divorcing you.
yeah, that show is wild.
I don't know. I haven't seen the show yet, but man, Twitter definitely did a good job of letting us know what the show is going to be like.
There's obviously more to this story than what meets the eye. There's obviously more going on, man. Personally, I've met DeVon myself. The man's a church-going man, and I was raised up in a church-going family. He seems like a solid dude. You know what I mean? Seemed pretty
Yeah.
cool. I
I
took
saw
a
him
few
and his
pictures
wife
with
at
him.
church. I saw him and his wife at church one time.
Yeah.
Well, his ex-wife.
His ex-wife. I think. Have you seen him with his ex-wife? Because we used to
Yeah.
go to church with her. He would take her out.
Yeah. He went. I saw her maybe 2 times at the church that I went to, and he preached one time, and she was sitting there in the front, along with him.
What do you think sparked the end of this marriage?
I'm gonna come at it in a way that I can relate to because I'm a pastor's kid. My dad's a pastor in the same sect of Christianity as DeVon Franklin as well.
Okay.
So I'm going to come at it that way. I think that their marriage couldn't take how secular her life was. She's in Hollywood. She has
Yeah.
to keep a character. And
Well,
you know,
DeVon's in Hollywood too.
right. But
He's
he
executive
came
producer,
into,
right?
right. He came into Hollywood as a Seventh-day Adventist. She was already in Hollywood and she was doing her thing and her
And
movies.
for those of you who don't know what that is, basically you mean Christianity was still the main pillar of his like beliefs when
Correct.
he entered. He was still like, he preaches, and that was his main kind of public figure look.
So he came into the Hollywood scene as, a Christian. She, on the other hand, was married into it. So she had to start changing.
Harlot. No, I'm
She
kidding.
had to start
But,
changing the way that she
a
presented
pagan.
herself.
He tried to turn 304 into a housewife, basically is what I'm hearing.
And maybe she just couldn't, maybe their relationship couldn't take it, where, she was probably complaining like, oh my goodness, everybody's judging me. It's really hard being a pastor's wife. I seen what my mom and my dad went through growing up.
Yeah.
I saw, there was a microscope that I lived under for a number of years until I said, I don't care anymore. Being a pastor's wife is extremely hard. And
You know what else is
know-
hard? This
What?
list of Megan Good's dating history, right? First on the list is Soulja Boy.
I did
I'm not
not
gonna read
know that she
everybody.
did that.
Yeah, she did that. And Soulja Boy's first on the list.
Lord
first.
have mercy.
So he was the first to do it, if you know what I'm talking about. He was the first to bust those cheeks. Let me show some respect, man. I'm not coming on here. He's no longer his wife. I was gonna say I'm not coming on here to disrespect anybody's wife. But you know who else is on that list? 50 Cent and Lil Wayne. That's all I need to see to know that it's
yeah.
time for me to move on.
Yikes.
You know what I
Okay.
mean?
All right.
This is a man with faith. You know, he had absolute faith in this situation because this list goes on and on and on, dating back from 2008. I see a situation where we have a guy, this seemingly good guy, church-going type of guy who goes into Hollywood and then runs into a woman who hits her 30s because they got married around her 30s and decides, you know what? I want to change my life. Why? Because that's what women do when they get closer to their 30s. That's what women do. right? They have what's called the epiphany phase, where they're thinking to themselves, okay, it's time to change my life. Why? Because they realize they're on a biological clock. And these are the smart ones, right? The really smart ones kind of learn earlier on, or maybe they were at an advantage because they had somebody to talk to them. But seeing as how she's in Hollywood, it's, still impressive that she was able to lock down somebody. And to be honest with you, I felt like they lasted longer than a lot of people expected.
Oh, yeah. 9 years is a really long time.
Yeah.
You know what? Did I expect them to last longer than that? I hoped that they did, because I understood the struggles of being a pastor's wife and being in Hollywood. I hope that they lasted a lot longer than they did. But 9 years is a really good, is good. Very good.
So bottom line, DeVon initiated the breakup. I still believe, and I said this in my video that I did earlier about this situation, that Megan Good cheated. That's just
You
what
think
I
so?
think. I'm almost certain, because if I look at this play out the way that it has, here are the facts that can't be denied. If DeVon cheated, she would not have any problem outing the man out. If it was a situation where, a pastor cheated, knowing his brand, knowing what he stands for,
More people
his
would know
public
about
figure
it.
image, more people would know, and she would have no problem snitching on him, right? It would be like the whole Derek Jackson type situation. But if she cheats, a man looks at that and he goes, okay, well, this looks bad for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
People won't feel sorry for a man if your wife cheats. They kind of look at you like, man, really, bro? You couldn't keep her in line? Only people within this sector are able to look at that evenly. It's always the man's fault. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what? I think more people are blaming Megan Good. They were just kind of just like, you just couldn't keep up with his lifestyle because you're so much of a quote unquote 3 or 4. We're looking for baddie, bad Megan Good back. Let's get back to who you really were. I feel like more people are kind of just like, I don't know.
You think so?
I
I
think
saw in
more
the Shade
people-
Room that sisters were calling DeVon Franklin, gay, and saying he's about to come out of the closet. I don't know, man. Why do black women run to that?
I think that's ridiculous.
They said it. I commented underneath the post. I said there's more to this story. And the next comment that has hella likes said he is going to come out.
Wow.
And I'm just like,
do you
why
think
is
it's
that?
maybe it's because a lot of men, especially in Hollywood, they're either bisexual or they end up being gay
This is
or
true,
down
man.
low. So maybe
This is
that
true.
could be it. Maybe that's what they're saying. But
Part
I
of
don't
me
see
wishes
it.
I didn't move out here, to be honest. Not because of that, but you would be surprised how many times when I date or I meet someone new, they're like, "You live in Hollywood, huh?" I'm like, "Oh man, yeah." And I didn't know that the homosexual influence out here, and
They
I'm
be on
being
the down
careful when I
low.
talk about this, is just real strong, real strong. So for
They're
a guy
down low,
who
people are
isn't that
fluid.
way, you just gotta kind of accept that people are gonna ask you that question. But yeah, you're right. It's very, very strong out here in Hollywood, man. And I mean, I definitely love women and women only. Just for the record, let me get this said on the podcast right now.
Everybody in Hollywood are fluid. They'd like to go in different directions and stuff.
Very
like,
fluid space. I didn't know that.
Okay.
I didn't know how prevalent that actually was.
Oh, it's huge.
know.
It's huge.
Hey guys, let us know what you guys thought of the topic down below. Appreciate you guys for checking out the content. Until next time, man, this is the Coffee Pod, a new show that I started on my channel with my co-host by Felicia. Guys, check her out on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to her YouTube page. Until next time, man, we're out. Peace.
Bye.